The Showtime Lakers are one of the most iconic teams in NBA history, with NBA legends like Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Lakers had the best season in 1987, winning 65 games and the NBA title. The Lakers are known for their famous fast break offense, but besides that, what made this team so good? Let's get into it. The Lakers had the best offense in the league in 1987, finishing 7 points above league average in terms of offensive rating. At the heart of that elite offense was their famous fast break, led by Magic Johnson, who in 87 had arguably the greatest offensive season of all time up to that point. At 6'9" with an elite handle, Magic was like a freight train in transition. He could take it all the way himself to the basket, and he had really good touch inside. Additionally, Magic is probably the best passer of all time, so defenses had to pick their poison between Magic's passing and his scoring in transition. The Lakers also surrounded Magic with great athletes who are always willing to run in transition and can finish inside, like James Worthy and AC Green. However, Magic wasn't the only Laker who could handle in transition, as Michael Cooper, the Lakers' backup point guard, did a great job of pushing the pace himself and finding his teammates running in transition. While the Lakers prefer to get the ball inside in transition, they also had players who could space out and hit wing jumpers, mainly shooting guard Byron Scott, who was genuinely very accurate in these spots. Another thing that made the Lakers' fast break great was how quickly they could get the ball down the court with great outlet passes. And Magic himself would throw these great fastball bounce passes to teammates running down court in transition. The Lakers even pushed quickly off of other teams' made baskets, essentially turning these possessions into transition opportunities. The Lakers could get down court quickly in these spots through long passes like you saw in the previous play, or here, where Magic throws a pass from the backcourt to Worthy before the defense is fully back. Magic could also get down court quickly with his handle off of made baskets, blowing past defenders who tried to press him and splitting defenses with his dribbling wizardry. And LA generally did a great job of filling the proper lanes in transition and finding the open man, as on this play right here, Worthy makes a great pass to AC Green, cutting across the paint. All in all, LA wasn't only one of the most efficient transition teams of all time, but also one of the most prolific, and transition is the most efficient play type in basketball, which is a large reason why their offense was so good. In the half court, the Lakers' go-to offense usually came from the post. The Lakers had several options to go to down low, and to start, there was James Worthy, an isolation master with a multitude of moves. Worthy's speed was too much for defenders to handle, able to spin past them baseline or towards the middle of the court. Worthy was just more athletically gifted than the other players, as on this play right here, he spins past his man to the middle of the court and just jumps over all the rim protection for the score inside. He was also too big and athletic for smaller defenders to handle, as here, Worthy flashes towards the middle of the paint off a little cross screen action and just overpowers his defender for the score inside again. However, Worthy wasn't just an athlete, he also was a very skilled post scorer. As on this play, he gets Bird with a great up and under move using some fantastic footwork. And that move right there worked because Worthy had a nice turnaround jumper he could call to in the post. And while the spacing on that play certainly isn't the same as modern NBA spacing, notice how LA has two players spaced out beyond the three-point line and the other two players on the opposite side of the paint, giving Worthy room to operate in isolation. In addition, Worthy's leaping ability, combined with a high release point, made it so contests couldn't really bother him. In addition to Worthy, LA also had one of the best post scorers of all time in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Despite being 40 in 87, Kareem still had his gigantic height and his unstoppable skyhook he could call on in the post. The skyhook is regarded as the most unstoppable move in history for a good reason. Not only was it unblockable, but Kareem had great touch and pretty decent range on that shot. Kareem could just overpower players with his height, as on this play right here, he sets a cross screen for Worthy in the paint, which causes Kevin McHale, a slightly shorter defender, to be switched on to him, and Kareem gets sealed deep inside and just shoots right over him for the easy score. And Magic always found him in these spots. And then there was Magic, and even though he was 6'9", he was functionally LA's point guard, which made him a matchup nightmare down low. And Magic had a nice tool set to go to in the post. To start, he had a nice hook shot that you could call on. On this play, Magic isn't able to get deep position on Michael Jordan, so he just fires a pretty long-range hook shot over him for the score. And he used his size pretty well down low, as on this play in transition, he backs Dennis Johnson down with his big 6'9" frame. And then he does a nice spin towards the middle and finishes over him. And his footwork was pretty nice in these spots. And obviously, all that post-scoring LA had drew defensive attention and created playmaking opportunities for teammates. This is one of my favorite plays from the games I watched, as after Magic essentially triple teamed in the post, he kicks it out to Worthy, who instead of settling for a jumper, takes advantage of all the space Magic has created for him by slashing inside and finishing, showing off that athleticism again. A similar thing happens right here, as after Kareem is double teamed in the post, Magic doesn't settle for a jumper on the kickout pass, instead driving inside and finishing with authority. However, the attention the Lakers players got in the post usually led to spot-up jumpers, though most of these jumpers were mid-range ones. The Lakers' one true three-point specialist was Michael Cooper, who, even though he only made 1.1 threes per game, that was fourth best in the NBA that season. Magic, arguably the greatest playmaker of all time, did most of his playmaking from the perimeter. To start, he ran a surprising amount of pick and rolls for the 1980s. LA did a good job of clearing aside for these pick and rolls, and as this play illustrates, even when the opposing team hedged or tried to trap Magic, he could use his height to see over the defense and fire a pass inside to the roller. And Magic's IQ and variety of deliveries in pick and roll was tremendous. Here, the Celtics essentially run a drop coverage, so the best pass is a pocket pass to get it to the roller inside. Here, he flummoxes the defense by pretending like he's going to go for a jump shot out of pick and roll, which draws in two defenders, so he just snaps a pass to Worthy inside for the easy score. And the Magic obviously drew all of this defensive attention because he was a threat to score himself. The most underrated part of Magic's game is his jump shot, which was pretty dialed in by 87. On this play out of pick and roll, Magic patiently waits for the hedge to go away, which gives him space for the wide open jump shot. And notice how Denver doesn't want to switch the action because their big man is no match for Magic on the perimeter, but Magic's man, who is momentarily switched on to Michael Thompson, doesn't want to leave Thompson because he's worried it will open up a passing window for Magic. Magic could hit pull-up jumpers without a ball screen too, though, since he had a massive height advantage over most players who defended him. Magic's best passes were bullet passes inside from up top, dissecting defenses like an NFL QB. Now, does anyone seem open on this play right here? Probably not. But Magic recognizes that both defenders in the paint are preoccupied with the screening action in front of them. So, he just fires a pass over their heads across the paint to Worthy for the scoring side. The same thing happens right here as the two defenders become preoccupied with the screening action, so Magic fires it over their head to Worthy for the scoring side again. In my opinion, these are some of the greatest passes in history, creating layups essentially out of thin air, and Worthy always been ready for them. One thing that impressed me was the non-Magic Lakers players' off-ball movement in these spots. For example, on this play in semi-transition, AC Green cuts to the soft spot in the defense in the middle of the paint, as the opposing team's center was not back yet, and of course, Magic finds him. And the windows on these passes could be incredibly small. Here, the Lakers again ran another off-ball screening action involving Worthy, and the Warriors have a slight miscommunication switching the action, giving Worthy a half-inch of space, so Magic fires to him with bullseye accuracy for the score. And while Magic obviously was the main playmaker, the Lakers overall were definitely a good passing team. Overall, the main thing that stood out to me about LA's offense was how constantly they pressured the rim. Whether it was through their electrifying fast break, the tremendous post play, or Magic's passing wizardry, they were consistently able to create efficient baskets inside. Finally, LA was a good offensive rebounding team as they ranked top 10 in that category. They were an athletic team and they just seemed to be in the right place a lot of the time. One thing that stood out to me on defense is how smart LA was with their double teams, taking advantage of the lack of space in the 1980s. For example, on this play, Scott double teams down on Charles Barkley in the post, content to give up a semi-contested 20-footer to a weaker shooter. And with these double teams, LA could force awkward shots or bad passes that allowed them to get steals in passing lanes. The best at this was Worthy, who combined his physical capabilities along with good instincts to get plenty of steals and deflections in the passing lanes. Here, Worthy smartly switches this off-ball screening action and pounces on the pass for a steal. And naturally, these steals led to easy baskets on the other end, fueling LA's fast break. Additionally, in the 87 finals, Worthy did a very good job guarding Larry Bird, as he had the strength and height to match Bird's physicality, but also a big athleticism advantage over Bird. The Lakers also had good post defense overall, with guys like Kareem and Michael Thompson able to be physical and use their size inside. In general, LA was usually well positioned in help defense to force misses at the rim. However, the main difference between the 87 Lakers, who had the number 7 defense in the league, and the 86 Celtics, who were number 1, is that LA lacked the rim protection that Boston had. Kareem could make a difference with his size when he was in position, but he was immobile and lacked any athleticism. Finally, LA's offense, in a weird way, helped their defense, as other teams couldn't get out in transition as much on them. The Lakers were also good at getting back to prevent fast breaks, as on this play, Magic sprints back and draws a charge in transition. Or on this play right here, as even after a scramble for the rebound, Elliott already has 2 guys back on defense, ready to stop the fast break. Overall, in 87, LA's defense was 1.8 points better than league average in terms of defensive rating, so while they were good, they weren't great on that end. Well, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all next time.